Audio Jungle.
All right, Mr. Simons, the 2017 Sports Awards are fast approaching. The deadline is the end of the year. What is the department and I guess the committee looking forward from the public itself?
Well, we are looking for from the public to have detailed information on anyone that they nominate for any of the categories. Because some of the challenge sometimes is that we just get names and nothing to back it up. And so, do you consider just the name? And the more information that they give us, the better it is, because at the end of the day, as we always state, that the committee can only deliberate on the information that's provided to it. We cannot bring anything else to the table. So that's what we're looking for this year, that, when the public submits their nominations, or more importantly, the National Sports Governing Bodies submit their nominations, that they submit all of the necessary information with it so that we can at least deliberate correctly, and should that person be or group be successful, then we can do a proper bio for the Sports Awards.
Are there any thoughts of possibly doing it a different way as far as nominations? Because over the years, it's been a challenge of getting a diverse group of, and we have a diverse group of athletes or sports in Bermuda, but we're not seeing that come around time to deliberate.
Well, to be frank, we have looked at maybe even looking at the whole process. The question remains again, should we be like other jurisdictions and have the media determine who your athletes of the year are? But I know that part of our challenge in Bermuda is that our media doesn't really go out and follow sports like other medias in other jurisdictions do. So then what are you left with? I think it's going to have to be a hybrid at some point in time, a marrying of both worlds. But having said that, we definitely have on our committee representations from the media so that there's a balance. As you know, the committee is made up of 2 Olympic sports, 2 non-Olympic sports, and it's also made up of representations from the media, so print and visual, so that it's specifically done that way to ensure that there is a balance and that all views are represented. But the unfortunate thing is that committee members cannot bring information in on the day. Mind you, our discussions are pretty lively, and input is put in on every level. But again, it comes down, more importantly, I think, that our national sports governing bodies have to take the lead in this, because at the end of the day, if you have prize givings every year to acknowledge the accomplishments of your athletes and also of your officials, then it will behoove you to provide that information to the panel. On many occasions, we don't get information from a lot of national sports governing bodies, which is a little disconcerting, in the sense that if you have that information already, it will behoove you to give it to us so that we can use it to deliberate and make the discussions a little bit more in depth.
There are several categories that people can nominate people for. I won't ask you to name one of those categories, but if people don't have a full understanding of what category they think they should put someone in, where could they get information? Where could they be directed to find out what category they should be putting someone in?
Well, they should contact the office, and I think that you're right. I think that we need to do a better job of educating the public when it comes to the various categories, and I think that that's something, an area that we need to improve in. Mind you, over the years, we've always relied on the print media to get the information out. By knowing the age of technology, we've also started to use social media and the like. But we have to find a way to make the information as brief and concise as possible, because people don't read like they used to. I know that our seniors will read every word once it's in the newspaper and the like, and so they will understand. But I think that the question is not how do we attract the more jet set or the more transient population to be involved in the process.
No secret, Flora Duffy has dominated the world of triathlon. Current female athlete of the year. I think this is what, 7th or 8th time.
Yeah, about that.
That's a given.
Mm-hmm.
Challenge for the rest of the categories. What do you think the committee will face?
Well, that's a good one. Well, we know that Flora has done extremely well again this year. I'm not going to say that she's a shoe-in because, again, we had a situation where once before she wasn't even nominated for sports awards. So, again, it will be important that she, along with others, be nominated for the sports awards for a category of Athlete of the Year or whatever the case may be. But when it comes to sports and the male sports, I think that there may be some challenges. It's going to be quite interesting, and that's what we're looking forward to, where it's not cut and dry. And that is always going to be a good debate. I know that our discussions are held in camera, so the public will never know what's being discussed. But I can assure you that if it's close, it usually is the case. I mean, when it's close, there's usually a lot of discussion. And I think that as the chair, as you're aware, the chair only votes when it's a tie. And I think I've only been called on once in my tenure as director to break a tie. And that wasn't necessarily for first place, but usually for second, third, or fourth place. So we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to the intrigue, because at this point in time, I can't even say who will be a male athlete of the year or even a junior athlete of the year. There are many candidates who have done some outstanding things, but can one be singled out? And I think that's good for us because we don't need to go into the debate with preconceived notions. I think that's important. I think that unfortunately or fortunately this year, Flora Duffy probably walks into this program head and shoulders above the rest as far as females are concerned.
On another note, we've seen the drawn to an end of, I'm going to change the subject a little bit about the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Can we see that revived in the very near future, or in the future at all? Has there been any talk about it?
Yes, I think it's important. I think that our challenge has been the economic downturn. We have to make some decisions when it comes to our budget about what we can do and what we cannot do. The Hall of Fame is a high priority for us, but as we move forward, it's being put back. We're trying to get it back on the front burner. I know previous administrations had asked us to move from every year to every other year, but again, because of economic constraints, we have not been able to hold one. And on top of that, we really felt that it was really important for us to find a permanent venue for the Hall of Fame inductees. It's not fair that we have to keep things in storage and the public doesn't get to see it. We have done virtual presentations on our website, and so it's really important that we get that, because to me, the sports awards and the Hall of Fame are in tandem. We need to not only acknowledge what our present athletes are doing, but we need to also honor our past athletes who laid the way for what's going on today.
There was talk of a permanent home some time ago.
Yes.
Has that been scuppered?
No, I know that our permanent secretary, along with the minister, have had some discussions with various peoples and organizations to see where we can house the Hall of Fame. At the end of the day, Earl, it's going to be one of those things that no matter where we put it, it's going to be objections. And I think that we've had some objections to where some locations that have been identified. So it's a question of finding what's best. And also, in addition to that, we need to ensure that we have people who have expertise in that area to ensure that whatever we put into the Hall of Fame is held.
Back to the sports awards. When is actually the deadline for persons to nominate people?
January 4th this year. Okay, January 4th is the last date for the nominations. Normally we finish off at the end of December, but we've extended the date to January 4th because we understand that it's Christmas time and the like, and so that's one of the recommendations that came from our senior team, because over the Christmas holiday people tend to be distracted. So hopefully by January 4th we'll have all of the information in, and 2 weeks later we will deliver. It will give us time to get the binders together to give to the members of the deliberation panel, and then we'll move forward. The Sports Awards is scheduled for March 17th.